Hi everyone, I'm Sunshine,
And I'm Shogo.
and welcome to OMG Japan.
In this podcast, Rakugo master Katsura Sunshine and Let Shogo delve into the theme of enjoying Japan more, revealing the secrets of Japanese culture and the behind the scenes of our activities, all while aiming to connect more closely with you. Long time no see, I feel like.
It kind of feels like that, yeah.
Yeah, we recorded at Ninja Dojo, did I think 3 episodes there?
Yeah,
And then
that
we
was a lot
went
of fun.
to Kokoro after that. And I think those of you who are listening and watching OMG Japan, it feels like we've been in Ninja Dojo forever, but we were only there for 1 day. Yeah. And then we come
Yeah,
back and then, so it's almost been like 3 weeks. So I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time.
it does feel like that, and it does feel like we did like a kind of
Yeah.
well, how do you say gashuku in English?
Gashuku, with Asami Shinju, the Kobudo Asami Shinju training, we always do a gashuku every year, and I call that a training camp.
Training camp. It
Yeah,
feels like we did like a ninja training camp.
we did,
That was a lot of fun.
with a very beautiful award at the end, going to Kokoro.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was the last time we met, actually, and I wanted to let you know again here. For those of you listening to this, you probably watched us being in Kokoro last week, so it was amazing. I just wanted to let you know again. Yes.
yeah.
Now, you told
It's
me
off the
that
charts.
you're going to be changing my life, right? You really did. Seriously.
Yeah, I
No
mean,
kidding.
it sounds like an exaggeration, but the food
Hmm.
and the funny thing is, like, I've known the owner
Yeah.
for now since before I became a Rakugo, so probably like
Hmm.
almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And my tastes have become much more refined. So I had a lot of people around
Hmm.
me who knew a lot about food, both Japanese cuisine
Hmm.
and other.
Hmm.
And over 20 years, I've just been eating better and better food and more interesting food, and I've just become more educated, become more interested. I've learned to cook myself, not very well,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
still. And yet, his restaurant is still the best I've ever eaten at, like literally hands down.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
just incredible. It's just never, and I don't know that what I order doesn't
Yeah. Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
As you saw, he never asked
Uh-huh.
me what I wanted.
Yeah. It just came out, right?
It just comes
Yes.
out. He just knows because I always order the same
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm. That's
I know,
amazing.
I
I'm
love it.
absolutely going to be taking my wife the next time when we have a chance.
Yeah, you have to, please. I'd love to
Yeah.
go with you
Yeah.
guys. I'd love to see her
Mhm.
face at her first Kokoro experience.
That's right. I mean, if
But
we can do that, we should probably, record another podcast there. I think,
yeah,
the three of us being together because,
100%.
Harumi doesn't do the editing anymore for OMG
Yeah.
Japan. I'm actually doing it, guys, but um, she still does the thumbnail and all that kind of stuff. So she is, of course, still working with us. So yeah, it'd be great if
Yes.
we could do that. Yeah.
Hardest working
Awesome.
woman in podcasting.
Absolutely. Yes. And how was that show you were doing in Asakusa? The first week is already over right now, I think. Are you
Yeah,
still
which
ongoing
means the
or?
first month is over.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's 1 week a month, and
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
just finished on Sunday. Let me tell you about that.
Yeah, please. I wanted to
So
ask you
I
that.
I was in New York last Saturday for the show,
Hmm.
and then left early Sunday morning, arrived in Japan Monday,
Hmm.
and started 2 shows a day Tuesday, and
Wow.
that was something else because that's like 3 hours of seiza a day.
Yeah, that's right.
Jet
That's
lag.
right.
I almost lost my voice. I almost lost my knees.
Oh my gosh. Were you okay?
Um, yeah, 100%. Oh, show went really
Mhm.
well. Now our marketing hasn't kicked in yet. So
Oh.
basically, we used to sell out the theater of
Mhm.
150 seats once a
Mhm.
month. So I kind of just divided my 150 people into
Mhm.
10 shows. So the first few shows were like 4 people and then 7 people. It's been a long time
Uh,
since I performed for like, a 150-seat theater with only like 4 people sitting there, but they
okay.
seemed to really enjoy it. I mean, that was an experience of it on its own. And then as
Hmm.
it went towards the weekend, the theater started to fill up. So it was a lot of fun. And no, I think it's going to be a lot of. I think there's going to be more and more people every month. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a really
yeah,
great
yeah.
start. A ton of people bought seasons tickets. We have seasons
Good.
tickets on um
Mhm.
15,000 yen. So if you come to like
Mhm.
a few shows, you're already saving money. So a lot of people
Cool.
bought season tickets, which is really nice because it means we're going to get to see their faces every month. Excuse me.
Awesome, awesome. Wait, so I think here at OMG Japan, I think you should have more people knowing about your shows. So if you can tell us more about them. So are you doing your Rakugo in English for
Yeah.
those shows,
Cheers.
or
Thank you very much. Yeah.
yeah?
The show in Asakusa is about 10
Mm-hmm.
shows a month, depending on the month.
Mm-hmm.
It's for 1 week. So there's afternoon and evening shows. And these are, for the time being, these are all in English.
Awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
working
yeah.
currently on Chinese and Hindi.
Wow, that's amazing. We talked a little bit about that, yeah. But
Yeah. So,
it's
but maybe
really
by
amazing.
summer or by later on this year, hopefully throw in some shows in other languages.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Really?
But basically, basically they're in English, and it's aimed at inbound tourists and inbound business people. There's 3 million people coming to Japan every month. However,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of Japanese people who live here
Uh-huh.
who love English and are very good at English and like to hear Rakugo in English. So it's kind of a double
Mm-hmm.
market in that way.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we absolutely should be talking more about your shows. Yeah. I mean, like,
Oh, thank
I've
you.
been working in the tourism industries ever since I started working, because my first job was working in a restaurant, which 70% of the guests were tourists. Yeah. And then I started doing a samurai experience, a tea ceremony experience. I started doing shows for Japanese traditional music. And then, I'm still doing similar stuff. So I'm actually right now thinking of doing a new tour in Kyoto for
Oh
No
wow.
Theater, actually. Yeah.
Oh
So
nice.
basically, it's going to be like visiting places where you can see how the no fans are made, how the no kimonos we call shozoku in Japanese are made, how the no masks, the omote are made. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then going to the places that are related to the stories that we're going to be watching at the end, and then the
Right.
show
Right.
itself is kind of be like a dinner show kind of thing. It's a totally private dinner show, no performance done by my sensei, my Yamada Isumi sensei and such. I'm thinking about all that kind of stuff. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that yeah, I'd love to, for example, maybe on even on Let's Ask Shogo, I could go to one of your shows, film behind the scenes, or like do an after interview kind of thing with you, and of course record another OMG Japan podcast. Would it be okay if we like do that maybe like next month? Seriously,
100% anytime. Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
that be really cool? Yeah, yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
really want to see your shows. What's crazy is that you've been doing all these things with me, OMG Japan and all that other stuff too, but I haven't actually been to one of your shows before. I'm watching tons of your reels and your YouTube videos
Yeah.
and such, but I've never actually seen your live performance before. So I definitely do that.
Sure. I mean, it's not that crazy considering you live in Kyoto and where I'm based in Tokyo. So it's not that crazy. We're both busy people.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we were talking about this before, but I really think and maybe we do the rehearsals, the okeko online. But I think you should
Okay.
do a short story. I think you should try some rakugo in front of the audience when you come.
That's right. You were talking about that. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Absolutely. I would love to do that. Yeah. I think we talked about it that at the after talk at Ninja Dojo a little bit about it. We haven't discussed which story we're actually going to be doing and stuff. But yeah, I
Right.
think we should definitely discuss that and such.
Yeah, 100%.
How about the first time I go, I could just simply go as a guest, what should I say, one of the viewers, and record behind the scenes and maybe do like an interview with you like before and after the show kind of stuff, and then
Yeah.
maybe the next chance I have to go, maybe like because of my sickness, my Raynaud's syndrome, my fingers don't do very well when it's cold. So
Okay.
once it starts getting a little bit warmer, maybe, yeah, at some point I might be able to go. And if we're gonna be doing the training and such, like the Okeko, yeah, online, I think it'd be great if we could, record that too and maybe show it somewhere. Yeah, maybe on Last
Sure.
Shogo or OMG Japan. I think that'd be really cool. So
Sure. Actually, yeah. I mean, I'm around and doing it for the whole year. So we could do it whenever you want and as many times as you want. So maybe that's a good idea.
awesome.
Come once and concentrate on filming and behind the scenes, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and then maybe do our first rehearsal at that time. Maybe
Wow.
before the show or in the gakuya, which is the dressing room. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
for
mm-hmm.
sure, 100%.
All
And then
right,
we got to
yeah.
get you to New York, my friend.
That's right. It would be great. I've actually never been to New York before in my life. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
100%.
My sister is actually, did I tell you about this? My younger sister, who's 2 years younger than me, is actually a singer.
Right?
She's been a professional singer for what, like 10 years, I think. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But she's in Tokyo, and she was actually in New York once to study abroad to study English, in New York
Oh,
for a
okay.
while. But
Wow.
myself, never been to New York before, so I'd
Never
love
been.
to go someday. Yeah.
New York is waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And for your shows on in Asakusa, by the way, I really
Yeah,
think that'd be cool if, the first month you did the Unagiya and also Tegami, right?
that's right.
So I think it'd be really cool, like on OMG Japan, if we after that month is over, we can
Yeah,
actually, feature the unagi or the tegami and stuff like that. So basically, so the shows are over, so there's no, spoiling the stories kind of thing, right? Yeah.
yeah.
But still, the people who haven't been to your shows yet will be able to kind of get an image of what your shows could be like by learning more about the past stories that you've done that year. Does that
Sure.
make sense? Yeah. So I think we could do that. If we do it in ahead, it might be, we don't want to spoil the stories and such. But if we do it after that month is over, the people who are like hoping to go in the future will be able to kind of get an image of what you get to hear and listen and enjoy. So
Sure, we can do clips too.
yeah.
Like these are all professionally recorded. So
Hmm.
for another just a kind of English educational subscription service that I do. So
Oh,
we
I've
have
seen that before
we can
too.
use these clips. I mean, I use those clips for Instagram anyway, but we
Yeah,
could use
yeah,
them if
yeah.
you wanted to do a little bit of behind the scenes and then show a bit of the stories. Like, yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
That'd be a
And
lot
I'd
of fun.
love to actually go to an unagiya maybe when we're in Kyoto or yeah, when I actually go to Asakusa, we should actually go to more places too, right?
Yeah,
Places
100%.
like because
Asakusa is,
yeah.
and I want to move there. I'm actively looking for an
Mhm.
apartment there now.
Oh, okay, okay. So you're right now you're what's the right word? Commuting there then at the moment?
Exactly. Yeah, I live a little bit
Oh.
far now. When the show was once a month, it was one thing. But when I'm going to spending a
Mhm.
quarter of my life in
That's
or
right.
more in Asakusa, I just feel like I
Hmm.
should move there, become part of the community,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
become part of the fiber of Asakusa. I think
Hmm.
there's so much going on there. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking for a place. If anybody out there has a suggestion for a good place in Asakusa,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've only been there once in my life. Yeah. And at that time I had almost no knowledge about, the Kanto area. So I really didn't know where I was, to be
right?
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, of course.
What's crazy is that when I was in university, I was actually a member of the Shorinji Kempo Club. Yeah, Shorinji Kempo is one of the
Shorinji Kempo Club.
yeah, that's right. It's one of the Japanese martial arts. It's
Right,
named Shorinji Kempo, but
right.
the founder was actually Japanese. And
Okay.
during
Yeah.
World War II, was studying abroad in China. And then
Oh wow.
because World War II happened, he couldn't go back to Japan anymore. So he lived as a Chinese person for a while during the war
Oh my
in
God.
China in Shorinji. So he was training martial arts. And then when he came back to Japan, Japan was basically everything was gone, right? No, it
Yeah.
was fires and bombs and everything. Nothing was there. So
Sure.
he thought that he really needed to help Japan to rebuild itself. So he started a new martial art called Shorinji Kempo because he
Right.
learned his martial arts based in Shorinji. And it also has backgrounds in judo and karate and all the other martial arts. He combined them together and created
Right.
something new. And right now, it's considered one of the kokugi, or what should I say, national martial arts. So there's 10
Yeah.
of them, including like karate and aikido and all that kind of stuff. And Shorinji Kimpo is actually included in there too. Yeah, so it's
Interesting.
the government has approved that it's a Japanese martial art. But anyways, I was training in that. So I was doing that in Kyoto, but sometimes we would train with the universities in Tokyo, like Rikkyo Daigaku, and all the other universities. Yeah.
Right.
So they actually, when we did a training together kind of session, training camp kind of thing, they actually took us around the Kanto area. Yeah, it's just to have fun. Yeah, and
Right.
I
Right. Right.
think we went to Asakusa once, but yeah, I don't remember that much, so I definitely want to go again.
Interesting. Interesting.
Sunshine,
Uh,
can you tell everyone about what's so special about Asakusa? I mean, Japanese people love it too, but what's so special about that place, that area?
sure. Well, it's got an amazing temple, Sinsoji,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and that's really famous. A lot of people go there. It's spectacular, both in the daytime, but especially in the evening, it's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And then leading up to the temple is the what you call it like a, it's almost like it's like a sando, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
street. It's a street that you'll find in front of a lot of the big temples, which is just filled. It's like a what would you say like a
Yeah.
12-month long, all year long festival atmosphere. They've just got little
That's right.
shops, and a lot of the shops in this one are kind of souvenir shops and that kind of thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it is very much there to welcome tourists. But when you think about it, people used to do pilgrimages anyway, so it's not just like
Mm-hmm.
foreign tourists. Like that was the setup traditionally. Uh,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
right, because people are pilgrimaging from all over. So people are selling their stuff, but then there's also you can also get like great Japanese snacks, Japanese pastries, Japanese different kinds of food. So it's great. So
Mm-hmm.
that temple forms the center of an area of Japan. We call it like Shitamachi, which literally means
Mm-hmm.
lower town. But it basically, some people say downtown or lower town, but it basically
Mm-hmm.
means like a place where the life is like kind of old fashioned, like it's still preserved from a
Mm-hmm.
previous era or like a kind of a nostalgic era, and
Mm-hmm.
things are not expensive, and there's people are like because there's a very much a neighborhood atmosphere, and people
Mm-hmm.
take the local festivals very seriously. Am I getting that right? I think that kind of summarizes what a kind of Stamachi feel would be like, right?
I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. And Asakusa is really famous for, the shows, right? I've heard like a lot of people like for example, Manzai duos would
Yep.
start their journeys in
Yep.
Asakusa on those shows and
Yeah.
such.
There's lots
Why
of
is
little
Asakusa so
theaters.
linked to those theaters too? Is it because there
That
was
I
a
mean,
lot of people visiting there,
it
maybe?
just happens to have like a lot of theaters. Yeah. It's
Okay.
like Mokubate is the one that
That's
I'm
right. Yeah.
in, but then there's quite a few theaters in it. It's just I would
Mm-hmm.
assume because it's just basically such a community place, community
Mm-hmm.
driven place from a
Yeah.
long time ago that the entertainment there too is just
Mm-hmm.
part of the fabric. But
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just
yeah.
entertainment. But then when you go, so I did mention that
Mm-hmm.
uh the sando, the road leading up to the temple
Mm-hmm.
is quite geared towards tourists. But then
Mm-hmm.
when you branch off into the little roads to the
Yeah.
side, it's very much local, very much professional. For example, I
Mm-hmm.
go to a nearby Chochin, which is paper lantern shop,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's where I buy my lanterns to decorate the stages in London and New
Oh,
York,
wow.
etc. But this is
Cool.
not aimed for tourists at all. It's very much like this lantern shop. I think it's second generation or third generation, and it
Wow.
serves local temples and shrines and all kinds of. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a place for professionals, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Same thing for
That's
like tabi, which are the socks,
mm,
the one toe socks.
mm-hmm.
Tabi. A Tabia, so a Tabi store. There,
Mm-hmm.
I get my Geta sandals. So the sandals for the sandal
Mm-hmm.
like footwear for kimonos. There's Geta,
Mm-hmm.
Seta, Zori.
Yep.
There's a place there where the guy
Oh,
they adjust it for you before you leave. They adjust the little ropes
oh, wow,
that come in,
really?
or you can choose different ones. So you can get the
Mm-hmm.
base and you get the ropes, and you can mix and match those. And the
Wow.
old man who does it, it looks like he's like 70 years old, and it looks like the piece of wood that is set up for him to do that on is about twice as old as he is. So it's actually a very, very traditional place and very not
Yeah.
touristy in some ways, and very, very authentic as well as being very touristy. It balances both sides of it. And
Sounds
then there's just a ton of
amazing.
restaurants. There's a street called Hoppidori, which is Hoppy Street.
Oh,
And
I've heard that
Hoppy is a
before.
kind
Yeah.
of non-alcohol beer which you mix with
Mm-hmm.
shoju. So it's a kind of poor man's beer, and but
Mm-hmm.
it's Hoppy Street is it's just like a lot of little restaurants that spill out into the street, and they're
Mm-hmm.
all like izakaya kind of. places. So there's one that'll sell a lot of like traditional yakitori. Well, I would say traditional, but Japanese
Hmm.
yakitori and that kind of thing. Another one will be
Yeah.
more on like Chinese food and that kind of thing. And yeah, and so it's just it's endless. You could spend like so much time. In fact, I want to spend next part of my life in Asakusa.
That's right. Awesome. Then I think we should absolutely do one at least one episode of OMG Japan, just walking through Asakusa's areas then.
100%. When we
Yeah, and you
went
can
there, I mean,
yeah.
if we had 5 episodes at the ninja shop, we're gonna have
Yeah,
like
yeah,
15
yeah.
in Asakusa because it's just it's nuts. Because you could go to any one of these
Absolutely.
places and it's fascinating, especially like the what I was saying, the footwear places, like
Hmm.
both the tabi and the kind of setazori place. I
Yeah.
mean, when you start talking to them about stuff, it's just
Hmm.
fascinating.
And that's so yeah. So you can once we go down there, we can you can like for example tell us about yeah I've been there before. I always go there. I bought that there before all that kind of stuff, you know,
Yeah,
and let us know. And
100%.
then you know the people who like listen or watch our podcast will like, be able to actually go there and see that place and be like, oh, that's where Sunshine bought his shoes. I should
Yeah,
buy mine too, kind of stuff, you know.
100%. Yeah,
So
yeah. No,
yeah,
it'll be
that's
a
gonna
lot
be
of fun.
something
So
really
yeah, if you can
exciting.
make some time to come down to Tokyo, that would be amazing.
I'll definitely have a lot more time actually. I think I've told you about the samurai training activity that I hold
Yeah,
in Kyoto. Yeah.
right.
I actually will not be there for the next few months. Yeah, because they're actually training a couple of new people there. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I don't have to go there anymore. Yeah, that often until it's like the really, really busy season.
Right, right.
So
Perfect.
yeah, I have a lot of free time now, basically.
Perfect, perfect,
I'll
perfect.
be able to go. I think I'll be happy to go next February, you know.
Okay,
Yeah. So next
sure.
month, basically, well, like in a few days, actually, it's going to be February. But yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, we've got to
When is it going
align
to
our
be on?
schedules in. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or if it's too soon, we could do March. But yeah, I think February will be better because once it goes into
February's
March and
fine.
April, I think it's going to be very busy with the cherry blossom seasons. And
Yeah.
filming down the streets and all that kind of stuff might be a little bit more difficult once if there's too many people. So,
Yeah, I just had a meeting yesterday
oh yeah.
with my friend who's a dancer based in traditional Japanese dancer who's based in Asakusa,
Hmm.
Kon-san, and
Yeah.
we were just bringing that up. He was saying like cherry blossom season. So when is that? Like end of March, beginning of April, depending on the year. It
Oh
can
yeah.
vary
Exactly.
uh, quite dramatically. But he said that
Hmm.
season in Asakusa is just nuts because
Isn't it?
because it's beautiful. They have
Hmm.
they have the cherry blossom viewing on the Yakatabune boats that
Hmm.
go down Sumida River, which
Mm.
runs right through Asakusa.
Hmm.
And I mean that just looking at cherry blossoms from the boats is
Hmm.
something that's been done since the Edo period, and it's celebrated in
Yeah, that's
Ukiyo-e
right.
woodblock prints for crying out loud. So it's just, yeah, it's off the
Mm.
charts. Yeah, but actually, I think we should go in April too and just partake of that too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I
Yes.
think you should
So,
just do a monthly trip to Asakusa.
just like you do.
Yeah, we should have
Well,
battles. Asakusa
battles?
versus Kyoto battle.
Yeah, so one question that I do always get though, Sunshine,
Yeah,
is that a lot of people ask you, when's the best time to visit Japan? How would you answer that question?
yeah, that's such a good question. Because
Isn't it?
yeah, for me, anytime I can tell you good things about anytime. Not,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I wouldn't recommend
first time
mid-August
visitors. Mid-August. Okay, okay, okay. First of all,
just because
when
it's
you
hot.
shouldn't go.
Yeah,
Yeah, extremely.
no,
Very
I'm just
much,
putting that
yes.
out there because I think any any other time is amazing. I mean, if
Hmm.
you like the heat, go for it. But I just think
Yeah.
it's crazy hot. Kyoto gets really hot, eh?
Oh, tell me about it. I've been living here for 12 years, so
Yeah. Oh
I
my
know a lot
God.
about that.
I used to complain in Tokyo, and then I went to Kyoto one summer. I thought, oh my
Oh, yeah.
God.
Very different,
In
yes.
Japanese, ue ni wa ue ga aru na.
Yes. That's
Above
right.
the
That's right.
above, there is always another above, is the way I like to
Hmm.
translate that. And I have no
Hmm.
idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I always recommend May, by the way, because again, cherry
May.
blossom seasons are a bit too busy. Autumn leaf season is a bit too busy. Winter is cold. Summer is hot. Then in June is rainy season. Then when's the best time to where it's a little bit quieter and you can go to places and see. I recommend May the most. However, the first week of May is Golden Week, we call it in
Yeah.
Japanese, which is a sequence of holidays, like 3 days a maximum, and then you have the Saturdays and Sundays. So sometimes people get like 10 days off. Yeah,
Yeah.
from the end of April to the first week of May. So the from the second week to the last week of May is the timing that I always recommend the most. Yeah.
That's interesting because
Mm.
I picked one month that
Mhm.
I didn't like and said any other time is good and I can fucking it. And you just basically picked May as
Yeah.
a process of elimination. Yeah, so you're more Japanese than I am. Like I don't like the heat and I don't like the cold and I don't like the crowds and I did
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like it.
yeah, exactly,
I like it.
exactly.
We went at it opposite directions. However,
Hmm.
I totally agree
Hmm.
with you. May is incredible. Now,
Yeah.
there's a reason the crowds descend on Japan in cherry blossom season. It's just because it is absolutely gorgeous. The
Yep.
problem is, how do you
Hmm.
time that visit? Because
Mm,
I
that's
mean,
right.
like last year, it was
Hmm.
um it was quite early, wasn't it? Was it quite early or quite late? I remember it was
It's
off last year.
yes, I feel it's always off. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be tough. Like you'd
Hmm.
have to kind of plan 2 3 weeks
Hmm.
to catch it.
Hmm.
It's always interesting. Those
That's
kinds of
right.
holidays always interesting. I mean, there's holidays for the Japanese people love
Yeah.
love talking about the aurora, and you can see it from Canada, like from parts of Canada.
Oh yeah,
And I even have friends
absolutely.
that have taken trips specifically to see it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no guarantee you'll see it.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
quite
yeah.
fascinating those kinds of trips. But then you have to go with just not that with other purposes in mind because you're taking your
Yeah,
chances, right?
exactly, exactly. So, so again, I've been working in the tourism industry ever since I
Yeah.
started working, right? So, it's always that. I mean, I always talk with my guests that, oh, you were lucky. There's some people who are like, oh, we're probably too late to see the cherry blossoms. We won't be able to see it. But this year it was really, really late, so I was able to see it. I was lucky. Yeah. And then sometimes there's some years where the cherry blossoms end very early, right? And there's tons of cancellations for reservations for hotels and all that kind of stuff
Oh, really?
around mid-April, because everyone canceled it, seeing on the news that the cherry blossoms are gone. Yeah. So it's
Jeez.
unpredictable, of course. Yeah.
Now the hotels don't have to offer a refund, do they?
It depends on which timing they cancel it, but most
Really?
cases, I guess you have paid some of it. But yeah, I think
Well,
it's
that's not
better
too
than you.
fair. It's not fair to the hotel.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, things like that happen. So yeah.
Right?
But Asakusa, looking forward to it so much though. Yeah. But what's crazy though,
Asakusa versus Kyoto.
yeah, we're gonna be doing that. What's crazy
That being
though
said,
is
my
that
favorite restaurant in the world is in
yeah,
Kyoto, so I think I'm losing
yeah.
already.
That's right, you're saying exactly, exactly. Yeah. So what's crazy though, if I'm actually gonna be challenging a Rakugo story in Asakusa, that's gonna be great. I would love to do that. But for no theater too, I've actually made a promise with my sensei just a few days ago that
Yeah.
I'm going to be taking the Shihan, which is the instructor level, in my during my 30s. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been training for about 7 years already, and most people, if they have been training constantly, they'll be able to get Shihan in like 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I was kind of on and off during COVID because I
Sure.
like
Well,
lost all the money I had, and wasn't able to afford anything. So there was
sure.
a year and a half where I was away, but I've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
training for
Yeah.
like 7 years basically in total. So yeah, my sensei actually said that this year I'll be doing another Maibayashi. I explained to you guys before, for those of you listening to OMG Japan, you start from doing just the singing, and then you move on to the Shimai, which is the dancing and the singing.
Yeah.
You're the one dancing, and then you move on to the Maibashi, which is the dancing and the instruments and the singing, which is much more difficult because you have to move along with the instruments. And then
Yeah.
finally, the fourth stage is the no theater, which you have the shozoku, the kimonos, the masks, the whole performance, like an hour and a half or longer sometimes. And what's crazy is that this year, our shachu means the group within the same who trains under the same sensei, yeah, the
Yeah.
community, yeah, the student community. Our shachukai, which is the performance done among the shachu students, we're gonna be doing at the Kongo no Gakudo, which is the
Yeah.
hall that the headmaster, the Ryuha itself owns. We're going
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
using that hall, and I'm actually going to be taking part in a no performance this year for the
Right.
first time in my life.
Right, right.
So I'm not going to be the main character though. I'm going to be like the side character that's kind of like the servant of the main character kind of thing. But I'm going to be putting on the proper kimono, of course, the shozoku. I have to memorize all the lines. Yeah, just about 20 minutes long, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
20 minutes long, but there's not that many lines, be honest.
but
The
at the
whole
same time
script of a
though,
4-hour no play fits on one page. I've seen it, so
what's
don't talk to me about lines.
What's crazy though, Sunshine, is that if it makes sense to you, if
Yeah.
what's written there is just, modern language that you can understand, it'll be a lot easier to memorize.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
these
Yeah,
are
I'll
like
give you that.
ancient, words that you don't fully, not even the professional people don't really fully like 100% understand what they mean. It's like something you had to read between the lines kind of stuff, right? You
I
had to
understand. I
guess
understand.
kind of, you had to guess
And
what
you
they're
also kind
feeling,
of have, yeah, you also kind of have to fill 5 minutes with oh.
Yeah, yeah. It just sometimes you have to just wait there and wait for the instruments to do a certain part of the
Sure,
movements
sure,
or
sure,
all
sure,
that kind
sure,
of
sure.
stuff. Yeah, and there's this part the chorus sings, this part's the characters who appear in the show does, and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be a huge challenge for me, but I'm
I
really
can't wait
excited.
to see
Yeah.
you perform no.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're gonna be recording it. I'm not too sure if I can actually like put it up on my YouTube channel and stuff like that, but there'll
Yeah.
be some way to share it, I think. So once that happens, I'll absolutely be able to share it with you guys. So I'm really
Love it.
excited about that this year.
Love it.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
So, how
Yeah.
long is this process of attaining this? I mean, of course, you said people usually
Mhm.
do it after 10 years.
Yep.
You're around year 7, but
Mhm.
you're kind of going through the testing process like this year. Is that how that works?
Exactly, exactly.
And
So
does that
again,
last a year, or how long does that last?
so basically 2 years ago, I did my first Maibayashi. Yeah, so
Right.
Maibayashi is already a third stage. So among the no theater training community, if you say that I've done a Maibayashi before, it's like, wow, that's pretty good. You go on to a high level kind of thing. So I'm gonna be doing another Maibayashi this year. Yeah.
Right.
And then on the no theater I'm gonna be doing is just the side characters. So that's kind of like if there
Okay.
was like stage 1 to 10 and 10 is becoming a professional, I'm like at stage 7 or 8 kind of thing. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
basically you train the same story for about an year. Yeah. So my first training was a few days ago. Yeah.
Right.
And then the performance itself is the end of November. So like I'm going to be training these two shows, the Maibayashi and also the No Theater. So Atsumori and
Right. Right.
Hando,
Right.
by the way, I'm going to be doing just two stories, the names. I'm going to be doing that for about 11 months, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are training. You're heading towards becoming a professional no actor.
Hopefully. Yep, that's right. That's right.
And then
Yeah.
will you be like like a full part of the no community and eventually like a
Mhm.
master and take students and that kind of thing?
So once you become a shihan, it means you're allowed to have your own students. You could, yes. And sometimes
Wow.
the duha will ask you, there's not enough people. Could you come and act, sing the chorus part, or like, can you do this part for us? You would start to get jobs, from other professional actors and such. But the thing is that
Wild.
I'm going to be doing something really similar with my shakuhachi training too.
You're
Shakuhachi is the bamboo flu. Yeah. So the same
a
thing.
monster.
There's
What can't you do?
there's
I
the
was gonna comment, but I didn't have time before
yeah,
because
yeah.
you were talking about the different official martial arts that you used to. I was gonna say, ask you like, Shogo's
Yeah.
on like, how many different ways are you
Mhm.
licensed to kill a person?
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. The two of us are involved in various Japan-related projects on a global scale, so please take a look at the description for more information. We're looking forward to your comments too. Then we'll talk to you again in the next one. ありがとうございました。